Green Bay Packers had a solid season, all things considered, even though that they lost in the wild card round to the Philadelphia Eagles, which is the team who they played in Week 1 down in Brazil, and unfortunately lost that one as well. And within that game too, Jordan Love ended up getting hurt, and I think that was kind of the symbolism I feel like for this team here as well throughout the entire season. And so Ryan and I, we're going to break down the 2024 season and start to preview the 2025 offseason that you can expect the Green Bay Packers moves to make. But before we get into that, if you like the content that Ryan and I put out and want to help the channel grow, hit that subscribe button, tackle that bell, and leave a like and a comment. Let us know what you think of the Packers 2024 season and what you want them to do this offseason as well. So Ryan, let's pull up the slides here. Green Bay Packers did not finish the season the way that they would like. They didn't look nearly as dominant as the end of last year when Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers team were just breaking off and one of the best teams, arguably one of the best teams in the league. If they just played a better fourth quarter against San Francisco, they probably would have won the Super Bowl last year. This year, though, I think it was really just kind of marred with injuries. I think just some quick examples. Jordan Love rolls his ankle on the second to last play in Philadelphia. He misses a couple weeks. And then at the same time, too, just Christian Watson tearing his ACL in week 18 right before going on to the playoffs. I think that was just kind of just a symbolism for this Packers team, especially offensively. Felt like they were always just kind of a little banged up here as well. A couple of good, shining lights, though, is they got Josh Jacobs there, clearly helping out this running game as well, being fifth overall in rushing yards. Offensive line, I think, has always played solid as well. They had a couple of injuries late, but in general, though, did, I think, a good job as just overall. And defensively, they're just always just a very solid team. It's they only gave up 20 points on average per game this season. Very tough to go up against. And that's even with some injuries on that side with, for example, Jair Alexander playing, I think, only half the season. And he is projected even right now that he might not even be on the team next year. I think that they might move on from him. So this is a solid defense with some clear holes that I think they can address in the secondary. Ryan, I want to throw it over to you. When you think of this 2024 Green Bay Packers team, what are some of the clear areas that the Packers team needs to address overall?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot. They are pretty well-rounded. They were one of the best rushing offenses in the league. Passing offense, I think, could have been a little bit better, but when you factor in the fact that Jordan Love missed a couple games, Malik Willis was in there, and also the fact they had a top 5 rushing offense and they didn't need to rely on that passing game nearly as much, I think that you can really kind of see that offense being super well-rounded and able to beat anybody on any given day. For me, it's going to be that secondary that you kind of already mentioned. Looking at the free agents, Jair Alexander, I believe, could be a cap casualty for them. He's not a free agent, but Eric Stokes is also a free agent, and they just need to kind of upgrade that room, I think, as a whole. Jair Alexander's a great player when he's on the field, but this is the second season in a row that he's missed some time with injury. So all in all, I think it's going to be best player available for them. Maybe they could add another edge rusher, but they're already top 10 in sacks with 45. They're second in sacks allowed, so that offensive line is playing really, really well. It's a really interesting position for them because they're already kind of performing at the top of the league. They're just not quite as good as some of those other teams, like the Philadelphia Eagles, like the Detroit Lions, and I guess right now the Washington Commanders. So that for me, I think, is just going to be the big thing there, is just kind of improving a little bit here and there on the margins. That's going to make a lot of the difference in those big matchups.
Yeah. No, and to your point here as well, if we want to go on to the next slide as well, with who are going to be the free agents, not too many free agents, but you see Corey Ballantyne, he is a free agent as well. You can see Eric Stokes, he's a free agent. And to your point too, just from reports, Jay Alexander, he is still currently on contract, but they might move on from him. If they cut him with a pre-June 1st, so just regular cut him, they would save about $6 million in cap. If they use a post-June 1st designation, they'd save about $17 million in cap. And the Green Bay Packers have about $40 million in cap space, according to Over the Cap, as of the recording of this video on January 21st. So, and then if they trade him, the designations are the exact same for pre and post June 1st as well. So that's going to be something that's going to be very interesting where they go, because if they move on from them, you got Eric Stokes and Corey Ballantyne. I think they brought in Xavier McKinney. That's helped out a lot, I feel, but they definitely could help out. That need help in the secondary, the cornerback position as a whole. I feel, for this team as well. And I also think, too, you can maybe upgrade the trenches on both sides of the ball as well. The offensive line the offense as a whole is very young. And I think the offensive line has played well. But I think maybe you could just see if there's better play, like best player available, if you think that that there's just going to be better guys there. I know they went offensive line in the first round last year, getting not Graham Barton, Jordan Morgan.
Jordan Morgan, yeah.
Yeah. But I also think, though, too, front seven as well on the defensive side of the ball. Once again, not like it's poor, but they, I think, just rotate a lot of guys. They want to have a lot of good guys in there, have a lot of good fresh legs. I think that could be an area that they can go. Maybe replace Isaiah McDuffie, maybe replace Tadell Slayton or some of the other guys that are out there and just trying to improve. So it's going to be interesting. I do think Josh Myers would be back. I think that's going to be somebody with all the money that they have, and he's been a solid center for them, if not one of the better centers in the league. So I think they want to keep him there, keep the continuity there as well.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of these guys will be back. I am curious with the cornerback position if they get outbid for some of those guys, just because they will have other guys that they need to pay. So and actually they'll have some free agent targets. So one of the needs was a true wide receiver one. I think T. Higgins can be that true X receiver that they need, that can go and win down the field. One of those guys, kind of like Devontae Adams, where he's going to win those one-on-one matchups and do a really good job there. Replace some of those corners that you lose with DJ Reed, get another safety in there, Justin Reed, add some linebacker depth there with Dre Greenlaw, and some draft targets. They have 8 picks?
It looks like, so this is as a tankathon. Maybe they can get some other, I could say, like compensatory picks. So that's still going to be up in the air. But in general, though, it looks like they're going to have 2, 4, 6, 8 picks. As of right now.
But I definitely think it would be smart for them if Jahdae Barron or Malachi Starks do fall to them, invest in that secondary and try to shore up some of that passing defense. If not, there's plenty of other options that I think that they could go there that would be decent value, with Kenneth Grant, Jahad Campbell, Mecca Ibuka, Jayden Higgins, or just a lot of other ways. Deion Walker from Kentucky. There's a lot of guys that they could draft that could fit that scheme and do a good job. So
and I think it's going to be it's going to get back to the receiver position here real quick, because I think it's one thing they are missing, and it's kind of nitpicky because the offense can be really successful and explosive without a true number one receiver. But with how well Matt LaFleur has this offense running, like when everybody's healthy and the motion that they have and when everybody's in sync, it's really like nothing else. It's one of the best offenses in the league, as like look no further than the 2023 season as well. In that second half of the year, that offense was almost unstoppable. Like they only reason why they lost is because they shot themselves in the foot. And so this year, though, I think Christian Watson getting hurt, and he's been inconsistent, unfortunately, throughout his healthy, inconsistent. But when he's been healthy, I think he's been a really good receiver for them and fit into that system well. But I think if you go out and get a true number one in free agency, I think that would be a big upgrade for this team as a whole. They're going to draft more receivers in the draft. They probably won't do a day one receiver because when was the last time they did that? I don't think they've done that because Aaron Rodgers never got drafted first receiver. And so it's been a long time since they drafted a receiver in the first round. And even when you go get a day two guy or a day three guy, you're not normally expecting them to be like the number one guy. Christian Watson had that potential, but he's unfortunately just been
so banged up
for the vast majority of his career. So I think they could splash in the free agency market, just like how they did last year with Josh Jacobs and running back. I think here they can maybe do something with the running back position, as they don't have too many free agents just in general. So they can maybe, and if they move on from Jair Alexander, and if they do the post June 1st designation, they put them near $60 million in cap. So you go spend $25 million on T. Higgins, $30 million or something on him, and then you still have $20-30 million left over to re-sign Josh Myers, re-sign some of the other secondary guys that you'd like. And in that first round, there's going to be a slew of guys that would be great to help out this defense. it's some of the names that we already mentioned out there, but it's also some of the edge rushers fall that they really like. I think that they'd go in and fit their system as well. So I think the Packers are in a good spot to keep improving this team. I think this year, unfortunately, they just kind of ran into three buzzsaws: the injuries, and then the Detroit Lions having their best regular season in a long time, and then Sam Darnold having his money-making season. I guess he's about to get paid wherever he
Oh
ends up.
yeah.
And so I think the Packers absolutely could fight for the division next year. And it's wild too, just to think the NFC North in general could be extremely good next year. So with Ben Johnson now going to Chicago, so a lot of exciting things coming out of the NFC North, and I think there's still a lot of positive that Packers fans can take from this season going into 2025.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that if you're a Packers fan, you have to be happy. Your young quarterback, even battling like through injuries, still looked really, really solid. Matt LaFleur continues to prove why he's one of the best young coaches in the NFL. So the future is bright for the Packers. They just kind of need to get over that hump of
Yeah.
those like really, really good teams, and I think that they'll be solid going forward. So let's go ahead and wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on what you want to see the Green Bay Packers do in the 2025 offseason. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.